I think Jordan would have been. I don't know. I can't. It won't. For some reason, it won't connect. I think Jordan would have been a terrible coach because I think, to me, he would have wanted you to play just like him.
Yeah, he demand perfection.
Yeah, and I think that would have
That's
been.
why owner. That's why he's owner.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. I throw motherfuckers in position to do what you do and make it great. I trust you. I'm in.
Yeah, I can see that because he'll get mad if motherfucking Charlotte moves.
But I mean, you see how they moving though.
Yeah.
That team is on point. You know what I'm saying? They put people in order. Like LaMelo is gonna be a star for a while.
Yeah.
Do you pay attention too much basketball?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You understand what's going on with Charlotte?
No, I don't. No.
Oh man, they put on a show. Like, they put on a show.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, they elite. They elite right now. They in elite competition. They taking off. And that's how times have changed with basketball, man. Like when you were growing up, what were some of the things that's different then that is different now?
Well, the size. You had. Well, for instance, even when I was playing, I played in high school.
Okay.
We
What was your position?
Forward. But I was 6 feet tall. Our center was 6'2" or 6'3",
Okay.
and we went to state championship.
See, that was a different era. That was
And our point guard, man, this guy could dribble. He could hold on to the ball. He was like 5'5". He would go between people. He'd go literally between people's legs. I kid you not. But that was, and I was 6 feet. The other guy was maybe 6 feet or so, but the center was 6'2" or 6'3". So Larry Bird was. Well, I mean, Larry Bird was a little bit later, but I mean, I remember Pistol Pete Maravich, and at the tail end of Bob Cousy, and some of those guys. That's what I remember, from the '60s. Trying to think, Celtics were my team. I don't know why. I guess because they were winning. It's like bouncing back and forth between the Celtics and the Lakers, and the Celtics, Lakers back and forth. Atlanta was never. I was a bandwagon guy. Yeah.
I ain't take you as a bandwagon.
Sorry, man. Yeah. It was. It was like football. I was, except for the Packers. Cowboys, Dolphins. But it's always been the Pack. Baseball pretty much always been. I was a Cowboy fan for a minute. I'm sorry, please. Yeah. Sorry, please for.
So you're trying to say you're not a Cowboys fan anymore?
No.
Oh, so you good.
I was a Cowboy fan when I'll tell you why. During the '60s, late '60s, early '70s, two linebackers. The middle linebacker was Leroy Jordan, who went to the University of Alabama. He had a guy. He was 55, 53, right next to him. One of the outside was Dave Edwards, who went to Auburn, and that had a lot to do with it. That's how I'm a Packer fan. Bart Starr went to the University of Alabama. He's from my hometown. Went to the Packers and watched him when I was growing up playing with the Packers. So I'm still a Packer fan. I always have been. So it's official. I have a Chiefs hat. I've been to a Falcon. I've been to a Falcons game when they played the Packers and yeah. Oh, the Packers are?
Yeah, the Bears.
Oh yeah, the Bears. Did I take us off on another tangent?
That's amazing.
Squirrel.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I've seen things change in the sports arena. That was from the whole shit, from the Jordan era, for how that went down from the down post play to the 3-point era now that we in with Steph Curry and everything. How the game changed to that point. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just when you watch everything grow, it's just everything moves so fast now.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's bigger and stronger, then go faster. That can hurt.
How has music changed, man?
Be honest.
Like besides as like an individual.
I get. As far as the music changed for me, not a whole lot. I'm still doing pretty much the same thing I've always done, except for the media the medium, going from vinyl to CDs to totally digital. It's still the same. I'm still playing a lot of the same music. I try to listen to the new stuff. I try to nowadays. Of course, I don't do the private parties like I used to. But I still, I listen to other genres. If I like it, if it kind of fits in with the normal stuff that I do, I try to play it. But as I've been playing records, I've always played guitar too, and that's changed a lot because I was into it early on, put it down, and then I picked it back up. And I've gone from playing the 6-string guitar to playing the bass to back to playing the guitar. The style of music's changed so much. I've had to relearn a lot of stuff. I've had to relearn how to play stuff. Alternate tunings have been a big part of music, especially today. Alternate tuning the guitar differently. We do that a lot. To DJ, other than the medium, I've always tried to play music where it's fun, upbeat, and I say it, but upbeat, not necessarily playing a lot of ballads, but I play ballads too, slow stuff. But it's it's pretty much the same. You hear my mix, and I try to play a little bit for everybody. I try to read the crowd. I try to do that. And
at times you be in there though.
Real.
I ain't gonna lie.
But now my fun is just collecting, this kind of stuff. I've got a bunch of these. I've got probably 50 or 60 guitars. I don't know, this last several months during the winter, I've taken several guitars, beat up crappy guitars, one of them with a bullet hole in it, as a matter of fact, and kind of refurbishing them. I've been doing that. So, just trying to kind of, go a different path instead of doing the same exact thing. Now, for the fact that I have not done a lot of private parties lately is fine with me. Now that's how it changed for me. It wasn't fun anymore. If I had to talk to one more Bridezilla, I'd shoot myself. And the brides and the brides' mothers can be extremely demanding. And I just got tired of dealing with it. That's kind of where the trivia thing kind of picked up, because I can still play music, but I don't have to do it in a certain way. I don't have to force people to dance. Forcing people to dance is just the worst thing.
I want to hear this.
Oh, my memory may or may not.
This one, you ain't gotta give us the whole story, just the incident.
The one that stands out for me, and it wasn't necessarily a Bridezilla. It was really actually the other direction. I was contacted. I used to do a lot of parties for its place up 61 towards Cartersville, and I was kind of their house DJ. I was, they said, well, here's the package. If you want the DJ, here's this guy. So I was contacted by this bride, and she couldn't have been sweeter. She couldn't have been the nicest person. And when we finally met in person, the day of the wedding, I was kind of like taken back. She was gorgeous, by the way, but she was tatted up, and her dress was white, but it had a lot of like red and black in it. Had some bows and some stuff like that.
Okay.
Her husband and all the groom. Well, the bride's dresses were all black. Yeah, they were dark, and her husband was all tatted up. All the groomsmen were all tatted up. They wore all black. He wore all black and a red tie. So I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, what, And the guests, most of the guests were pretty much the same. Well, the first time I ever heard this word, the officiant, came out, because I will always mic him up. I'd put a lapel mic on him, and we were talking, and I said, I don't know how, we just got to talking. And he was talking about, well, I'm going to talk about sun, moon, and stars, and, all this kind of stuff. And I said that, I'm like, so I guess you're probably not going to mention Jesus at any point. And through the ceremony, he had this funny look on his face. He was like, no, I don't think so.
You about to get sacrificed. Didn't even know it, dog. Didn't even know it. Wow. I'm thinking I'm about to DJ, and I'm seeing all these people getting this pedestal ready, and I'm looking around like they giving me some clothes now to wear. I'm thinking I'm here for a DJ set.
I'm talking about Jesus.
So he just kind of like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, oh, you're done. You're good to go. So, and I just sat down and I started looking around and I'm like, what's gonna happen? I'm like,
did they give you a specific playlist to play?
oh yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I certainly had some, and there was some pretty heavy stuff on there, but they understand. The bride understood that it was her day, and he kind of understood it too, that it was her day. So I've got to play the, electric slide, and that kind of crap.
That electric slide, it's getting
Well,
played.
it's good.
I know
is it
for
coming
a
back?
fact.
Is it coming back?
It's always going to be a part.
that's-
it's always. Well,
It's always gonna
Okay,
be a
if you
part.
black, that's a forever song.
Were they black?
Every.
Oh really? Really?
Family event.
Were they black?
They're electric slide.
No. This
They
was
weren't black.
This was all white people.
Okay.
All white people. And
Electric slide get played in my shit.
Every black event, bro.
really, everybody plays it. See, I would nenever have thought that.
Barbecues
Would
and
never have thought that. Never have thought that.
Yeah.
That is a song that we play. I ain't even gonna cap
I had there was one where the bride was Jewish and the groom was Catholic, I think. And the bride and her sisters got all ticked off about something. The pre-ceremony music was about 30 minutes or so, which is that's typical. They had to play through it, I think, 3 times. So that means an hour and a half that the bride had to take to get her butt off her shoulders before they even started the ceremony.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's been stuff like that. I mean, I had a guy come up to me after it was over, after a wedding was over, and he said, "Man, why didn't you play all my music?" And I'm like, well, because he had the playlist. He threatened not to pay me the full price, and I just said, well, first of all, I tried to be honest with him. I said, a lot of the stuff you wanted just was not appropriate. Not meaning it was bad or nasty or ugly or anything of that content. It was just the occasion. You're wanting to dance and have a good time. The music you wanted to hear was just not. It wouldn't have worked. It just wouldn't have worked, and that's why I didn't play it. That's what. Yeah, exactly.
Just to cover the music and for the occasion.
And for them not to have to worry about it.
Yeah.
They gave me the list. They did their part, and they did the part that I needed. No, you can't. You can't.
I mean, you can. There's a way
You
to
can't.
go about
You
it.
have to go about it. I had another guy that his list. You could obviously it was his list. He had all this Led Zeppelin and a bunch of stuff like that. Joe Bonamassa. I don't know if you know who he is. And he was getting mad at me for not playing it. And I literally grabbed him by the shoulders and I said, "Dude, this is not about you. This is not your day. This is her day. That's why they do this. That's why they dress up like a princess, and with the dresses and all the attention. It's theirs. It's not you, dude. It'll be over in 2 hours, then you can knock it out." That's what I told him. I said, "You can knock the bottom out of it in about 2 hours, and just remember those words. I mean, don't remember while you're knocking the bottom out of it, but just not that I said that. No, please don't. See me."
No, I'm trying to keep the straightest face that I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm just.
But he was like
Nigga going in his head while he going, he's just like.
he's like, oh, hey, I thought that was.
I was saying something about remember these words.
Right. Like Animal House. No, don't do that. But and he was like, okay. I've had some fall into my stuff. I've had some pour drinks in it. I've had some wanting to grab records and play on their own. I've not had. Not really had a lot of knockdown. No, well, I hadn't had any knockdown dragouts, but I mean not fisticuffs, but had the police many times. The police have showed up.
No, he didn't say I like that fisticuffs. I
Fisticuffs.
like that.
Oh,
I haven't heard that in so
that's another
long.
old term. I was doing a party. I was doing a wedding for some guy that.
Done threw some fisticuffs in his dick.
Yeah. At least I had those pointed-toed boots went up somebody's butt, so I've done that. So doing a wedding for a somebody that worked for that was a player for the Falcons. Yeah, it was over in Gwinnett County, and police showed up. Police come over to me. He's like, "Shut it down. You're too loud." And I'm like, "That guy, there's the groom right over there. You go talk to him." I didn't do it, but I don't know if it's the sheriff or whoever it was, went over and talked to him, and so a few minutes later he came out. He's like, "We're done." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So but I
Keep
didn't.
that party going.
But yeah, I'm like this. Look, they're and in my mind I'm like they're paying. They're the one paying the money. I'm not going to do it until they tell me to do it. I don't care what the sheriff says. So it's been nothing wild and crazy. I mean, I wish I could have some a little more crazy. I did do one time, and I don't think I don't know if she knows this. This is what if my wife watches this. Sorry, honey, but it's no big deal. This has just happened. I'm doing a party for somebody at the time was 40th birthday or something like that, lady, and then she was playing tennis, and they were up East Cobb somewhere. So I go to their house. The place is packed. I mean, they're jamming. I mean, we are throwing down. So I knew this was going to be a little more interesting when they did a little thing for her, and everybody stood up and told what they thought about this girl and some past experiences and stuff like that. Well, this one guy, the husband of the that lived in the house where it was, he comes down the stairs, and he didn't have much on. He had a pair of shorts on. Well, as he's walking across the room, and I mean, again, this place is packed, he just goes, yanks his drawers off, and he's got her name written across his butt, like in a Sharpie or something. Happy birthday or whatever like that. And I'm like, oh my God.
That party was lit.
Oh my God. So we're going on, it wore on, and people less were there. So finally, I don't know why I don't notice. I look up and I'm like, crap, where'd everybody go? Well, I could see there's a pool outside, and I could see some water kind of rippling out there. So I'm like, oh, I guess everybody went swimming. So I walked out there, and there's probably about 10 people out there, and every one of them are in the pool, butt ass naked. I don't know, but I went out and I'm like, I kind of like, are we done? Kind of looks like we're done. And they's like, yeah, we're like, well, come on in. And I was like, I really need to. I should go. So I packed my stuff up, and this is around behind the house. It was a steep hill, the walkway up there. So I had the guy that lived there. I asked him. I said, "Look, can you help me carry my console?" I had this huge console at the time, and it was heavy. I couldn't roll it. And so he's like, "Yeah, sure, man." He hops out of the pool again, buck ass naked, and grabbed one end of that console, and I'm on the other. And we walk up there, nothing on. I'm like, thank you for your hospitality. We had a great time, man. You're awesome. Yeah, all right, we'll call you again. Thank you. So, yeah, that was one of the more interesting. I should have written all. I wish I should have pictures and written notes a lot of this stuff down. But
What they call them shits?
That was
What they call them shits when you should have written memoirs?
memoirs, yeah, good one.
There you go. You should write one.
I should,
Yeah,
but
right.
well, I
Write
don't
a
remember.
book of-
I couldn't remember half of what I did.
Shit, whatever the fuck you can remember, that shit funny as hell, though.
just died, bro.
I'll tell you.
I was now the nightclub thing was pretty interesting too. A lot of the same kind of stuff. I was at American Pie. Everybody knew American Pie?
Of
I
course.
know the movie.
No, it was. This
See,
was
I
a
know you're
nightclub.
not talking about the movie.
No, I'm not talking
I
about the
don't know
movie. It was on. It was right there on just off of 285 on Roswell Road in Sandy Springs, and we would play a little bit of everything, and the place was very popular on Saturday and Sunday afternoon, especially in the spring and summer. Had a huge deck, everybody gathered, and it was a big deal. Nobody inside, so I'm playing inside. We had a bra collection. There were hooks inside the DJ booth with, I mean, probably a couple of hundred bras.
Damn.
And if the right girl came along, we would say, hey, look, we, you know, or they would ask, like, why do you have those bras up there? Well, I'll buy you a drink, you know, if you give me your bra. And they'll go, yeah, okay. I can think a bra's not cheap.
Yeah.
But it would cost us 50 cents to pour, 75 cents, maybe $1 to pour a Jack Daniels or something. And then she's giving me a $30, $40 bra. I'm like, I really couldn't care less. Most of them would go in the bathroom and take it off and come back out. There were a few panties in there too. There's a girl that stood up on the booth and she was dancing and she insisted on giving me her panties, and this was one of those girls where yeah, you can keep them. Well, I was told to get her down, so I got her down, and she's like, thank you, whatever. And so a few minutes later she comes back and she's like, here, and throws me to me. You know, hazmat, get the big clamps, you know, like, you know, put them in the bomb disposal unit, something. But there was one girl that comes by at this. It was a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Nobody inside, just bartender, and everybody was outside. And this girl comes up and she's like, "Look, oh, can I have that bra?" And I'm like, "Well, no, ma'am, that's not the way it works." This was the only like red one, you know, up there. Most of them were white. There was a couple of black ones. And she said, "Well, don't you think I need one?" And I'm like, okay. And she's like, thank you. And she went in the bath a few minutes later and she's like, oh, look, it fits perfectly. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about it later. I'm like, I got a feeling that when she was snockered, what's that word again? Snockered. That it was hers
Word
and
of
she
the
gave
day.
it up and she
Snockered.
came back to get it. I got a feeling that's what it was, but hey, thank you.
Got it.
The twins got their,
You got it.
you know, got the.
It was an amazing grace.
Man. So,
What's up, bro?
so you saying fall in love with your hobby and something?
Yeah, saying all that to say.
Say that, you know, find something you love to fucking do.
I have heard this time and time and time again. It's like if you do something that you really enjoy doing, you'll never work a day in your life. You get that?
Yeah.
It sound good.
Yeah, you know, do something you enjoy doing it, where it's this, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be this. It can be acting. It can be flipping burgers. If you enjoy doing it, then you're not going to work hard at it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to put 100% into it. And you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to get up and go there. You want to flip the burgers. You're going to want to, you know, do this. You know, you're going to want to spin records. You're going to want to write. You're going to want to make movies or whatever it is. You're going to want to. And the paycheck will just be secondary. It'll just be a bonus, yeah.
Yeah, I guess
That's how I
I'm
always
learning
felt
that.
like that.
I learned it. Real shit, because now with Johnny's, it was more. At one point, I did enjoy making all that.
Yeah,
I
likewise.
loved it.
I enjoyed working.
It was something new, something I've never done before. But then it got to a point where it's like, is this it?
It's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it is really point like, am I meant to be in a pizzeria at the rest of my goddamn life?
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking more of a legacy more now than I've ever
Good.
had. And, and looking off of everybody else and like history wise, you know, you really don't. You for me, you gotta make a mark.
We older, man.
Yeah,
We
you know.
benefits and all that good shit.
Yeah.
Well, if my wife hadn't been working like she had been working all those years, I'd have way been doing something different because I never had any benefits, never, still don't. So you know that helped. So that helped doing, you know, what I wanted to do. But well, I didn't really know I was going to get into the DJ thing like I did. I thought I was going to do radio.
You
got
do
voice
have a
all my
radio
life.
voice.
Well, you got a radio voice.
Well, I've done
Yeah,
it. Well,
fuck
thank
bro.
you. Well, that's what I wanted to do. That's why I got into radio in the first place, and then by default fell into the nightclub thing. And the nightclub thing was great. You know, it was like we made a lot of money, but I wasn't home, and my family was young, and you know, it was, you know, what do I do? You know, I mean, this is good money, and you know, people enjoy what I do. But it got to the point where it wasn't very conducive to a healthy family life. I said, I'm seeing things that I don't need to be seeing. Not that I couldn't handle it, I could take it or leave it. But it was just, but
environment.
but my kids, like especially my daughter at the time, she thought it was cool. She would call me Dr. DJ because, you know, the chiropractor there and then DJ.
Yeah.
And she would, of course, then she would tell all her friends. And they're going like, yeah, I know who that is, or I know what the club is, because all her friends' parents were going out and, you know, juking and doing whatever. So, juking,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of cool.
That's in Chicago.
Juking,
Yeah.
down south juking. That was Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner did a song called "Down South Juking."
Way before your time, youngster.
Way before mine.
Yeah.
I got some history.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to pick his brain, bro.
Well, what else you want to ask me? I feel like I'm dominating the comment. I don't want to do that.
I mean,
There's
the
too much.
the
there's too much
conversation
other.
is about
it's
you.
about you, bro.
God,
you
no,
know?
no.
There ain't no
Right.
domination when it's about you.
Oh, well, you don't have to do that.
You
but I
know,
appreciate
the
it.
one thing that kept recirculating, right, for a couple moments was the 37? You said
37 years, yeah. My wife
37
and I
years
been-
of
yeah,
marriage. Give us some insight.
Yeah, please.
What
Easy.
What does it take?
Th-
to make
this
that
this
work?
conversation this is going to take about
30, it
10
would take 30
no, it's gonna
seconds.
no, no,
Please
it's gonna
don't say
it's gonna
happy
take
wife, happy
it's
life.
going to take
Please
about 10
don't say that,
seconds.
please.
No, it's close.
Okay.
2 words. Yes, ma'am.
Oh no! Wow.
Damn.
Why is
Yeah,
it we have
that's
to be
it.
subservient in a relationship
That's
for
it.
the relationship to work?
That's it. That's it. You have to. You have to put you've heard of this 50-50?
I'm big on 50-50. Like, I'm big on 50-50.
Well,
but
guess
I feel
what?
like
Guess what?
This is why he
You
about
put-
to,
you put-
we
listen
about
to-
to lead into it. We about to lead it.
Let's hear something. You put 50% into anything. What are you going to get out of it?
50%.
50%.
True.
If you put 100% of, like I was talking about, doing something you love,
Yeah.
and you'll never work a day, it's the same thing. If you put 100% of your, and this is just the way it goes, this is the way it is supposed to be. You put 100% into it, you will get 100% out of it.
I believe that.
It's a crazy circle. It's called love and respect. You love your wife, she respects you. You love her, she respects you. You love her. It's a crazy circle. But you get into that circle, and if it goes on for all these years, but it's gonna be happy wife, happy life. It is.
That's crazy.
If you love her unconditionally, and you know what unconditionally means. If you love her, she is going to love you back. She's going to respect you that you loved her. I love her. Now, the crazy thing about it is because she respects you for loving her unconditionally, because that's a hard thing to do.
Very hard.
Extremely hard to do.
That's looking past flaws, character.
Farting in bed and
Man.
the what? You know what that's called, right? You know what that's called? It's called a Dutch oven.
Oh yeah.
fart in bed and you fan it, and then she's like,
Actually, it's gonna smell like bread.
but that's the way.
Smell like fresh bread.
Yeah, no fresh bread here. But that's the way it's supposed to work. It's a crazy cycle, and it doesn't make sense, but it works. And there have been marriages that have been pulled from the brink of extinction because one of the two decided to love the other one, no matter what. Put up with all the crap. Now, it doesn't work all the time. It doesn't work every single time. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But that's what I had to realize early on to love her unconditionally. Now, and I said we had a ready-made family. That was even harder. See, she had 2 young children from a previous marriage, and they were very young when we met. So I've raised them. Then we had one on their own. So it was really hard to do.
Similar to me.
But you've got, for all the flaws, for the warts and the smells and all that kind of stuff, you've got, like, just like the vows say, for better, for worse.
Plug it up.
Yeah, you got to tough it out. And again, sometimes it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle it. You got to be a real man. And please don't take this the wrong way, but you got to be a real man to stick it out and do,
everything you don't want to do.
Go to Disney World for the umpteenth dozen times because she wants you to go. Stuff like that. Go to the ballet.
I told you.
Disney World.
Go to Disney. Go to the ballet. Go to some dumb movie. This is us. Chip and Dale. You know who Chip and Dale are? The cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Rescue Rangers.
Indubitably. One of them says, "Hey, no, whatever you want to do." The other one says, "Pretty much, I'm assuming it's too male, but I don't know. Whatever you want to do." No. Whatever you want to do. No. Whatever. And we'll come to a state. We won't do stuff sometimes because none of us can make a decision. But they love it when you make a decision. When you step up and say, "We're going to do this," or "We're not going to do this." They love that. They respect the crap out of you for doing that. They love it when you plan something and they don't have to plan anything. My wife's just like that. She loves it when I say, "Let's go do this." However small and piddly this might be, she loves that. But she understands that I pretty much go along with whatever she wants to do. So she knows she's got me. So she's like, "Let's go to Disney World." Like, okay. Or can I go to Disney World with you? Don't mind, do you?
Take off.
Knock yourself out. So yeah, it's a give and take. I get on the motorcycle and ride, and she goes to Disney World. She goes to do this and this with my daughters. Her and my daughter, I call her my daughter because I raised her, but my stepdaughters, they're like best friends. They talk all the time.
Sure.
So we all we do stuff together. We love each other that much that we. If she wants to do something crazy or strange or whatever, then if she wants me a part of it, she'll ask me. If I don't want to do it, then I won't do it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
Was it like that in the beginning?
That's the best part.
Or has it always been like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Her first marriage was not a good marriage, and I won't say he was abusive, but it was just not. It was not that give and take thing. And she gave and gave and gave and gave and gave until she couldn't give anymore. And then he had an affair too. And she even tried to work it out. She went counseling with him and begged him, but he couldn't do it. I don't know what the problem was, but his name was Vic, and I called him Vic. Still to this day, I call him Vic. Because he is.
You never outlive stuff, bro. You never.
Can you edit that part out? Because I want to. I don't know. He might get wind of it, and No, as he's got. No, I tell you.
We got you.
I tell you what happened when he later on when he remarried, and then she had a child. He saw the other side, and he was a changed man. I kid, but he's a good guy. You know, he's all right. We get along fine. We're not buddies. You know, we're not hanging out together, but you know, we get together on occasion just for the kids' sake and grandkids' sake. So. But to the point was, she gave and gave and gave till she. Then when I came along, there was not a whole lot of giving, and I stuck it out. But I have to say, we met and married in 6 months, which means there was only 2-3 months into that that we knew, and we said, and she actually asked me. She said, I was getting ready to finish school, thinking I was going to practice somewhere. I was going to go back home. I was going to She said, look, I'll go back to Alabama with you if you marry me. And I went, okay.
So that wasn't weird. Because technically, that's like a proposal.
Absolutely, it was a proposal.
Because that's literally your story is the first time I've heard a woman proposing to a
Oh, really? No, it has.
That's literally my first time hearing it from somebody I know.
It's more and more common these days, or has been. You know, She absolutely. It was like I didn't even think about it. Didn't even hesitate.
There was a conversation about how dudes. How would you feel about that? Like a lot of dudes didn't feel comfortable with that. They don't know how they feel if they wouldn't propose.
So you did it because you knew that's where you were.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, again, it was just so spontaneous. I just, sure, why not? What do I got better to do? What am I going to be doing the next 50 years?
7 years later, I guess.
It was the best decision,
Yeah, but we had our ups and downs. I mean, she's worked in the mental health field for 35 years, and she got to see psychiatrists, she had psychological help for free. So she had this one guy that she really liked him. She thought it helped him. It helped her. I thought he was crazy. I met with him a couple times. And I kept telling her, dude, this guy's filling your head with a bunch of crap. I said, before we go any further, we need to do something about this. So one night we were having this discussion about what he said and what his ideas or what he wanted her to do or something like that. And I told her she was crazy. I told him he was crazy. I got out of the bed and went and slept on the couch. Immediately, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And immediately she quit seeing him right then and there. I guess she believed me. And it was, and things got. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It didn't look like that way at first. That's good. I'll write that down. But, there was, and then she respected what I had to say too. That love and respect thing. And it was just like, oh, okay. Well, while we're on this, let's talk about your, So yeah, it was.
Pulled out a piece of paper.
Yeah, yeah. So it was. But it was. But there, I respected that, but I just didn't. I just knew some of the stuff that she would. I just knew better. I knew better, and not that she was raised that way necessarily, but I think she had just been beaten up all those years. That she was just willing to try anything to make her feel better. And of course he was free because she worked at a psychiatric hospital, so he was free. So it was, why not? Why not try to use it? If it's gonna try to make her better, then
Would you say she's your best friend?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So marrying your best friend.
Yeah, it is. No, I don't guess. You grow into that. But then if you're compatible, if it's your soulmate, then you're gonna know. You know.
Yeah, it's quicker than you realize.
Yeah. Well, and see, I didn't tell you how we met either.
True.
Which it doesn't necessarily make a difference, but it's probably my best DJ story. I'm playing a singles dance. Play a singles dance every Sunday night. And myself and two other guys, we were in partners. One of the guys went down to the south side of town, and myself and another guy was up here to Mariana, Windy Hill. Big deal. They had every room available that opened up. I mean, it was huge. That was how big this thing was. There were hundreds and hundreds of people every single week, 8 to 12. And I met my share of women in there. I mean, there was a lot. Most of them a little bit older, but nonetheless, you know, I met a lot and dated quite a bit. Well, one Sunday night, there she was. I saw her, and she stood out because, again, she was obviously a little younger than most. I said, I'm going to meet her. And as a DJ, I could I could afford some liberties that maybe I could walk over to somebody and say, hey, you and me, baby, let's go. Which most probably couldn't do that.
You sound like a DJ.
Yeah.
Hey, you and me.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby. This is your old friend Barry White. Love.
Weird Uncle Al, bro.
Wow, bro.
Love. I love you. About the broom closet.
Room closet, bro?
Oh my God.
Room closet.
Maybe close.
You get that janitorial.
That's right. Yeah, how about a good cleaning?
Good cleaning.
Let's dust up.
He's stupid, bro.
I know, thank you.
Okay.
So
Hey, what's your Cinderella story?
So I didn't get to talk to her. As bad as I wanted to see her, I got busy. I looked up and she was gone. Like, okay, well, whatever. I guess, you know, wouldn't have been the first time. So fast forward, it wasn't but a few weeks later, maybe a month or two. I don't know. We're playing, and there she is. She came in, and she would always come in with a few friends. Well, this time she was at a table, like right there. I'm here. She's right there. Okay. I said, well, I'm not going to miss an opportunity this time. So what we would do was the format from the thing was from 8 to 9. I'd play one fast song, upbeat, danceable tune, 2 ballads. Weird, but that's the way he wanted it. At 9 o'clock, I would do what's called a mixer. I would play 4 or 5 ballads, slow songs in a row. I'd play about halfway through and make everybody change partners. You know, just a mixer, you know, just to get to know. Well, so I'm watching her. She's literally right there. So the last song, I'd play the last one all the way through. So I started the last one, and everybody's changing partners, and she's just standing right there like, oh look, I don't have a partner. Over the table. I went over the table and latched onto her, and 37 years later, there we go.
What song was it though?
You know what? I don't remember. I wish I knew. I have no clue. This was November 4th, 1984.
Okay.
So we were playing a lot of Chicago had a couple of ballads about that time that were popular. Foreigner. You want to know what love is?
I only know one song from them.
Cars had Drive. The Cars had Drive. So it could very well have been, you know, one of those. I played the crap out of Wonderful Tonight, Clapton. Usually I played a lot of crazy Patsy Cline. So it could have been, you know, who knows? It could have been one of those. But I've regret it for all these years, and she doesn't remember either. But I followed her. Yep, I followed her. I didn't play another record. My partner, thank goodness, had a partner because he played the rest of the night. And I was with her, sitting there talking to her, dancing with her, or whatever. And then at the end of the night, I walked her out to her car and made a date with her the next week. And the rest is history.
That's what's up.
We got married the next April 26th, and there you go. And you know,
like that, bro.
like that.
History yet? The story ain't done.
No, it's not. No, not done, not yet. So, and we've had plenty of people too that have lost spouses, you know, around our age or even younger. So, you know, I can only imagine.
Does that make you a little nervous?
Well, you don't. Well, you know, with her heart attack and everything on
Yeah.
Christmas Day. You know what? It didn't bother me. Honestly, I can say it didn't bother me because I knew she was going to pull through it. I knew it was going to be fine. And you know, I didn't worry about it. I just took care of business at home, and you know, I knew everything, and it was.
You seem like the type of person that doesn't deal well, you deal with your shit. I mean, I said you deal with your shit.
Strong mental.
But you don't deal with the what ifs, the as ifs, anything until you know for sure what's what. You feel what I'm saying? You seem like that type.
It doesn't. I'll never forget when my father died. We're sitting there in the pew, and my sister's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" You're not crying. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, "Do I have to?" You know, I was sad, absolutely, but you know, I wasn't bawling like everybody else was.
Right.
And see, my mother had died just a year before that. So, you know, I guess maybe I was holding it in. I don't know. But you know, I sometimes I don't, and I've been accused of this, and my wife has told me this too many times too. You know, quit pushing it under the rug. Quit, you know. You know, you got
So that's something
you got
men
to.
do when they get
It's
older.
absolutely something men do. They just push it under the rug, and
When's the last time you cried?
I choked up just right then. But really cry, I don't know. Well, I mean, losing, you know, the possibility of losing her was. I thought about it later, but not during the whole 2 weeks or so. But I don't know. Really cried. I don't know. It's been.
Yeah, like really cried. Like you remember boo-hooing and snot coming out your nose and all that.
No.
Last time for me was when my son passed.
See?
Oh man, I didn't know that.
See, how long has that been?
2019.
When's the last time you cried?
No, 20.
Last time I
13.
cried,
Dominique?
my
2012.
best friend Dominique passed away.
See?
That was last January.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
want to say the last time you cried, you can't even.
I don't remember. It probably was when we lost our son. He was stillborn. She was.
Yeah, that's my son.
She was. What was it?
He was still born.
Yeah.
2012,
It was. I think she was 7 months along. I think.
yeah. Nah, about.
But that
yeah,
was-
about 7. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was 95, 96, I think, something like that.
Wow.
You trying to tell me you haven't cried in over 26 years?
Do you need to?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've had a couple of bowel movements that were, you know, kind of rough. That just sort of.
I fucking hate you.
And that's what I counter a lot of that stuff with.
No,
with
no.
that stuff.
I feel like we're asking is, you know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
Mental health is really big, you know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes God need to cry, just get some shit off his chest. you know what I'm saying?
They say, experts say that you should. Experts say that you need to deal with your grief. I guess you do, but when and how you do it is going to depend. They try to pigeonhole everybody the same formula. You know, you need to cry. You need to say goodbye when they're laying there when they're laid out. That's another southern term.
Yeah.
When they're laid out. You know, you need to cry. That's your way of dealing with it. If you don't deal with it, then it bottles up inside and
It manifests.
it manifests itself, and you may go on some kind of shooting spree and, you know, shoot up the post office or something, you know, just or whatever. Maybe, you know, I've never had that kind of desire to go do stuff like that. I mean, I just dealt with it. Okay, it happened. My parents died within a year of each other. I was 17 and 18. You know, we lost a child. Okay. My middle child, my son, he had a severe motorcycle crash 12 years ago or something like that. It was hit or miss for him. But I didn't worry about it. You know, it's like I prayed that he got better. you know, everything. But it didn't. I had a peace about it. I knew whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And so I don't deal with it, I guess, because I don't feel like I have to. Whatever these experts say, okay, but it's not true with everybody, I don't think. So the way you deal with it is going to be totally different.
Do you go to church?
Oh yeah. Big difference. A lot of times with a church, you get this support group. I say a lot of times, not all the time. Churches, there's a lot of churches that are not good. You know, fortunately, the one that we find has been very good. We've been there 19 years now. But there's a built-in support group there. So it doesn't, you know, family's always good too sometimes. But then always, family can't share anything. Like my sister and I, we have an okay relationship. We never have been lovey-dovey to each other, you know, talked about a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, she screwed me over a couple of times that I probably should have just disowned her, but I didn't. And Diane will say, my wife will say sometimes like, yeah, like Mary did. I'm like, just...
Are you older?
Yeah, a year, yeah. I just say, look, it's family. It's my sister, just let it go.
It's the older son.
Yeah.
Always feel like you have to take care
Cover,
of
Yeah.
take care of.
Yeah.
To this day, always gotta look out for him. Whatever he go through, even if I haven't caused or he got into it himself, I feel like in some way, shape, or form, I gotta look out for him.
Listen to you.
Yeah.
So do y'all think that the grief thing, you know, I mean, is that something that has to be done? I mean, did I miss something by not boo-hooing and breaking down or
Nah, you see, if being honest on my end,
oh, lie to me, okay.
I'm the type of person, there'll be moments where I want to cry,
Yeah.
and my body or something will stop me from actually crying. So it might be like a single tear might drop.
Now that,
Something like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I can feel that
Excuse
I
me,
want to just pour out,
Yeah.
but I can't.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And I haven't reached that, and I've lost a lot of people recently where I've been to the point where I still wanted to, and I have cried, but not to the point where it's been like, you feel what I'm saying? Like that. So I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? To let that part out. And I'm starting to actually think, maybe if I let that part of me out, maybe I will feel a whole lot like, oh my God, you feel what I'm saying? Because it's been years since I've been able to really do that.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just a part of me. But once again, it's when do you have time?
Yeah.
When do you have the space, the availability? You feel what I'm saying? To be vulnerable to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can be sitting somewhere in your house and think that you have all the time in the world, and it's that moment where you think it, and then it's coming from upstairs or something. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you just, hey, I don't have it right now. You feel what I'm something. Your phone may ring. You feel what I'm, I mean, it be anything.
For me, it's been more like situational. It's always been like deaths. That's why I feel like really cried on. My dad, both my grandmothers, and my son. And my son was like 2012, so that was like the most I've actually like boo-hoo cried. But I don't know. Nowadays, shit, I cry watching a movie. So I don't look at crying as something now. There is just like, I feel like now it's just if I have that emotion, if I'm feeling that emotion, I express it. Me balling it down now, it doesn't benefit me, and it's not to express the emotion I have. You know, it's just an emotion. You feel it. It's just, emotions are fickle. It could be there 1 second and be gone the next.
And sometimes I wish I had that vulnerability, bro. That's actually that's a power.
I mean,
believe it or not, that's a power.
Having some type of control and understanding of your emotions as a man.
That's what
I think that's the misnomer that us men have always told, that we can't show our emotions, especially crying, because it's a sign of weakness.
I don't see it.
I don't know.
You got to be strong to be vulnerable.
Facts.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
my opinion.
Word.
You have to be vulnerable to be strong.
Yeah, because
To be honest with you,
for example, you gotta be vulnerable and strong to cry in front of a female. You know what I'm saying? Because you expressing that emotion. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you know. And I'm at real shit. I cry when I get inspired. You know what I'm saying? Tear up. I don't want to say cry, but I know I'm saying nigga tear up when you get inspired. What I'm like, for example, like when I was watching the Adam Journey last night. the whole moment with his dad, bro. Like I don't have my dad died, so it's like that moment for me was like something I wish I could hear.
So do you find moments where you look at something and it makes you want to like smile so hard where you can't even smile because you want to cry?
I come to those moments.
You know what I mean? Like you want to smile so hard at something and be like, and all of a sudden your eyes start, you like, what the fuck going on? You know what I mean? It's a whole different energy going on. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
I mean, it just take the time out to know yourself, and I'm really big on that. Knowing who I am. You know, the faults, negatives, and positives. It took me for a while to be like, you know, because I was younger, you know, saying, because I'm really big on astrology. So being a Cancer, we're emotional beings. For a while, growing up, I'm not emotional. I ain't sensitive, you know what I'm saying? I ain't nothing like that. But growing up, I am sensitive and emotional. You know what I'm saying? It's traits I figure out for myself that I am this. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't help that. You know, fighting it.
You're a crab, nigga. You snippy.
Yeah.
Hard shell, soft insides. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. Like honestly, for example, at work, new people I don't really mesh with like that off jump. I gotta get to know you for me to feel fully comfortable in expressing my personality with you. Unless it's one like you, it's one of them jumps where we click instantly, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's like that, but that was more of an energetic feel for me, you know what I'm saying? Instead of me talking to you off right, because you're there, you know what I mean? So I feel like you personally have to know yourself in anything. And taking the time out and realizing, because for another example in relationships, I know a lot of people that jump into a relationship right after another one.
Yeah, my
still carrying baggage.
I've done it. Don't get too
my daughter.
I know it's ridiculous.
My daughter.
I've done it once. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
It's just. I don't feel like. I think after every relationship, you should take time
To heal.
Not even that. It's just to
Understand yourself.
understand
You got to
yourself.
understand what happened too, and why it happened, and not let it happen again. But
Right.
it happened. It happens though.
It's a part of growth. It's a part of growth. You know what I mean? We all can't be out. We all can't meet that one.
Thank God.
37
But
years
that took
later.
time. You know what I'm saying?
That took time.
It took time.
Well, that one. But how old were you again?
We were 29.
Oh, I got luck. Oh,
Yeah,
man,
we
I'm
were
31.
29.
I got. Appreciate you. I got time to find out.
We got time. We were 29. This is November. She turned 30 in January, and then I was 30 in April, right before we got married. So, no, wait. 25, 3. Let's see, 6 and 1. Carry the. Oh wait, no. Yeah.
Scott
yeah,
math.
Yeah.
Cool. So y'all right around the same.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was something too that made it different. I dated a girl before that was 14 or 15 years older than me, to dating a girl that was 9 years younger than me, to marrying somebody the same age. And it makes a big difference.
So
It
age is
really,
a big
age is really. We.
So what was the problem with the older chick?
She was older.
That was
I mean, she was older. She knew more. She'd experienced
Sounds
more.
like
The
control.
experience. She was, and she was big into control, man. Big time. I mean, she was a doctor, but she was a veterinarian,
Oh, okay.
and I pretty much did whatever she said to do. And she was one of the ones at the pivotal point that I made a decision because of what she said. Because she said, well, no, she didn't pay for anything. I had my own money. Yeah, I already had my own money, but it was just that power of control she had. And she said, you don't need to be doing this radio thing. You need to go back to school. And I'm like, okay. And so there we go. Again, that okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But then the other girl when we met, I think she was 17, going on about 30. And she turned 18, I think, while we were dating. And I was 26 or 27. So, but we got along great. We had a great relationship, but
What was you gonna talk?
Times were different.
times were different. We're talking early 80s here, so
Times
yeah.
were different.
Times were real. So, but marrying somebody.
Nowadays, I think you got like what, a 4-year age gap.
It was
Which
probably-
acceptable if
it-
you
it-
dating younger.
And now looking at it, it was probably going right until they started talking when she was 17, but it was going into when she was 18 type deal.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. You're 26, 27 or whatever, and you got this 18-year-old that you're doing.
Yeah.
She didn't look like she was 18 either. She looked older. She acted older. That's maybe what kind of took up part of those years. But she eventually broke up with me. So she told me, she said, I need to let you move on. And I'm like,
It was the other way around.
what the hell does that mean? Yeah, she's the one that needed. Yeah, and then I got that. Well, we can still be friends.
So you mean you wasn't the first ones to use that shit? Niggas been knowing it for a minute, bro.
Yeah.
Shit, we gotta wrap it up now.
Oh,
It's all good, man. This been one of those great episodes.
Yeah, it's just, I learned a
Cool.
lot.
Good talks for real.
Well, thanks for. I didn't feel like I
I didn't say a lot this
No, you
episode.
didn't.
Yeah.
I noticed that because you
Nothing.
say a lot.
Nah, it's probably because like these two know you better than I do, so I'm kind of just.
Oh, it's all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
You could have.
Trying to learn.
Well, I think the important thing maybe to take away from this is for your sanity, do what you want to do, regardless. I mean, my son, my youngest, is he just turned 34, and there's no children, there's no marriage, there's no but he's doing what he wants to do. He lives in a school bus sitting in my driveway. He converted it to be an RV. He's the only thing he's got is a school bus and a motorcycle and a few belongings. But he's been doing once he worked, I told you he was working for those companies. And when he quit, it freed him up. It freed him to be who he wanted to be and who he knew he was. And he took off out west. He was gone out west for about 6 or 8 months in the bus. Adventures, meeting people, doing whatever, working. This one guy let a bunch of them stay on. They're called boondocking, and they're just basically hippies. And they're just this one guy let them all, a bunch of, there's about 10 of them, stay on his property because they helped him build some fences or repair this or do that. And he was just, and he had maybe 2 pair of pants, And I mean, that's it. He would live and work and just hang out and just explore. And, he was in New Mexico, Arizona, just out there just hanging out, having a good time. And the only reason he came back is because the bus broke down. That's when he knows, like, oh, crap, I need somebody. And he limped his way back here, and he's been here for whenever it was, sometime last summer when he got back. But he's been helping. He's been working around the house. He's helped me with projects, and so. But my point is, and he still does pretty much. I think he's gotten to the point where he thought that he has to do some of this, and I told him, I'm like, you don't have to do any of this, son. I appreciate it. Thank you for the help. I really need the help. And then when my wife had the heart attack, he did a lot of cooking for her. He's a vegan, so that all fell. The nutrition part fell right into there. But he's still pretty much doing whatever he wants to do, and we're fine.
So, as a parent, allow your child to be them.
I didn't when they were younger. I was, especially my middle one. I rode him hard, man. I mean hard.
Well, they normally say the middle child is the most problematic one.
Yeah, and it has been, still is. No, sometimes it's like, what? You want to do what? and it just like, it's just kind of like, he's 42 years old, so so it's.
That's
you got
question I got. Okay. Because this is what I'm dealing with now. Because I believe the child and parent relationship changes when the kid becomes an adult.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I believe I can give you as a child is more of a say as not as I do type mentality. I give you that. But as they reach adulthood, as a parent, how do you approach that to where you can still give them advice, but knowing they're still going to go their own way?
you have to do it like I told you my father-in-law does it. You have to not do it like that. You have to throw it out there in a loving way. Say, look, son, have you thought about what you're doing here? This and this. Well, no. I'm like, well, I have, because I've been there.
Okay.
You know, I've had to tell them, all of them, time and time and time again. I'm like, have you ever been whatever before? Have you ever been 16 or 17 before? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, I have. And I've been through it. It's called experience. And I know how this turns out if you do it this way. I hope it doesn't. I'm all for it. I'll support you, whatever you want to do. That's all fine and good. But I know how this is potentially going to turn out, or can turn out, because I've been there and done that. Got the T-shirt, burned a hole in it. So you just kind of have to, in a loving manner, just say, look, have you thought about this? I'll be happy to tell you my experience with it if you want to listen to me. If you want to do it on your own, experience it, then I love you too when you're hurting. You know? But that's kind of the way you have to approach it. You just kind of, and not get mad if they don't do what you know to be the right thing to do. So that's what my father-in-law does. He gets mad at you if you don't do it the way he says to do it. Yeah. So, and that's some of my friends. I've told them about all that, and they give me a hard time. Like, well, what you ought to do, because that's what his phrase is. What you ought to do. Then he'll say, but you do whatever you want. You do it however you want to do it. And then when you don't, then he gets. So you just kind of have to do it and find some way. You just have to let it go. Just let them do it. Let them chop their finger off. You know, my son, now the middle one is in his left arm is in a sling. He'll never be able to use it. And it's been like that for 10 years. He bought him a motorcycle. It was too big and too powerful, and he has no experience, none whatsoever. I told him, I said, you need to be careful. I rode it down the street. I rode a block down the street. He said, well, ride it. Rode it a block down the street and turned around and came back. I said, you need to take this thing back now. Because I knew what was going to happen, and it did. He cracked a couple of vertebrae, lost his spleen, concussion. Like I said, bruised his left arm so bad it's just hanging there. It's just a piece of dead meat. We'll never be able to use it again. So, you know. I told him. I said, this is not
so
good.
he should understand, like, you're not trying to control.
No, not at all. Not at all. And same thing with my daughter. She's done the same thing. But my youngest, they're all just so different. You know, it's just hard to say, you know, what will happen here and there and why and how come. But you just got to love on them, and, you know, when they're hurting, just say, poor baby. And then when they're in the state of mind, then you go, you idiot! I told you!
We told you. Yeah, that's what it is.
Alright, we gotta wrap it. This is the end of the smoke session.
Yeah, and I didn't smoke a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you for coming through, though, Rack. I really do.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I didn't know what direction you were going to go in. I was just going to let this go with it. And I got a lot to say. It might not have been worth a tinker's damn. There's another one of those things. Well, good. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed your other episodes. And so I knew it was going to be good. Well, knowing you guys too already, you know, I kind of knew, but I appreciate it. You could have done
Derek.
I'm just here.
I was kind of waiting to I was like, come on, he's gonna say anything. Because I know he can.
He got it in him, man.
Well, this has been a fucking smoke session, yo. I'm your guy, Kid Sky.
Yeah, it's your boy chess_FDE on everything.
And it's the Gift the Rule on Instagram and TikTok, and Glock Buddy on Twitch.
And our guest today.
Oh, I have to do that?
Yeah.
If you want to, you don't have to.
I'm insta-twitching. on my gram and in my book. DJAlgay.com, at DJ Algay on Facebook, and Alabama Al on Twitter.
Plug in, man.
Plug in real quick.
Yeah, that's it.
We appreciate
Yeah, man.
y'all, man. You already know it's the smoke session. Put one up in the air and sip some.
You guys have a great night, man.
Take it easy, man.
Peace out.